Ricky Stanicky is a brand new raunchy comedy brought to you by director Peter Farrelly, and it stars Zack Efron and John Cena, two men who I find incredibly talented, and above all else, very funny. 20 years after creating the imaginary Ricky Stanicky, three childhood friends still use the non-existent pal as a handy alibi for their immature behavior. But when their spouses and partners get suspicious and demand to finally meet him, the guilty trio decides to hire a washed-up actor named Rod, played by John Cena, to bring him to life. And Rod is incredibly method. Let's just say that he takes the role of Ricky Stanicky a little too far. And that results in some comedic hijinks, and you have something funny. And it's a very fun concept, and I feel like everybody involved in the acting side of things definitely handles the material to the best of their ability. The majority of the comedy comes from my man John Cena. Even though the camera was just kind of pointing at a blank spot and you heard somebody talking but you couldn't really see who it was, you know what? F it, it's John Cena. I will continue to make that joke until I'm blue in the face. But in all seriousness, John Cena does get to bring out a lot of his goofier side in this production. And I've known this for years. He's a funny guy when you give him funny material. Which can only mean one thing. Vince McMahon did not write this movie. And good, probably for the better. Vince McMahon should be rotting in a jail cell right now. I digress. John Cena, keep doing what you're doing, man. Zac Efron is typically a very funny actor when you give him funny material. I love him in the Neighbors movies. I think he's hilarious there. If this were a buddy comedy, he would definitely be the straight man to John Cena's goofy ass. I don't know what it was. I don't really think Zac Efron's character was given much funny to say. It definitely felt like he was practicing more of his dramatic chops in this movie. Only fitting because he just did the Iron Claw and wasn't nominated by the Academy. What the f*** is wrong with those people? But no, he's very good. He definitely understands his character. Him and John Cena definitely do have some very funny chemistry with one another. But I think overall, I just wanted this movie to be a little bit funnier. Because as it is, I definitely laughed at a good chunk of John Cena's antics and some of the shit that he was saying. But I kind of wanted everybody to be funny across the board. Like your three main friends here, none of them are really funny in their own rights. A lot of these side characters you meet, you have a lot of very funny people in here. William H. Macy plays the chairman of the board at the company that Zac Efron's character works for. And he's usually a very funny guy, but he's not given much outside of one running joke that he has. I kind of wanted a little bit more out of him. The Roastmaster General, Jeff Ross, is in this movie. He plays a rabbi, which can only lead to insanity. He is given one sequence in this movie, and then he vanishes. And Jeff Ross isn't really given a whole lot of funny things to do here. Like, I just feel like based on the fact that you have all these funny people in here, and a wrestler, John Cena, is your comedic standout, I think that speaks volumes to his acting talent, man. But I think aside from your side characters not really having a whole lot of development and a whole lot of extra comedy thrown in, the one big knock that I have against Ricky Stanicky is actually its pacing. This movie is just touching the brink of 2 hours. I feel like you could have very easily cut 20 minutes out of this thing. You remember that sequence with Jeff Ross I was telling you about where you're actually introduced to John Cena as this imaginary friend? It feels like that sequence goes on forever and it just doesn't stop and you're not really getting anywhere. The opening of this movie really felt like a slog to get through. There was a lot of exposition going into this thing. And it doesn't really pick up once John Cena is shown on screen for the first time. Like, I don't know, guys. Peter Farrelly is undisputedly a very gifted director. It looks like a good movie. There's nothing technically wrong with it. I think it's edited very well. And as I've said, it's most certainly performed very well by Zac Efron and John Cena especially. But for the near 2-hour runtime, I wanted a little bit more substance. Like, this is the most wishy-washy I felt about a movie all year so far. There's definitely funny bright spots in this movie where I laughed at what John Cena was doing, but it just left me wanting more. And instead of getting more like we should have, it's just kind of boring. But in the end, Ricky Stanicky is definitely a mixed bag. I think it's at least worth one watch on Amazon Prime and see what you think of it. But as it is, I'm giving Ricky Stanicky a C. The overall idea and the execution of said idea, I think, is sound. It just left me wanting a lot more out of it. Let me know what you thought of Ricky Stanicky down in the comments. What is your favorite Zac Efron performance? What is your favorite John Cena performance so far? And if you're looking to join a great community of geeks, film lovers, and entertainment lovers alike, then boy, you've come to the right place. Do consider subscribing today and tap on that thumbs up if this is your first visit over here. And stay tuned for much more hitting this channel very soon, guys. Y'all are the best. With all that being said, Back Talk, commence.